Hi.
Are you hooked on salt? A whole bunch of us are. And in Michael Moss's book, Salt, Sugar, Fat, we are going to discuss chapter 12 today and do a deep dive in how the food industry has been excited about us being hooked on salt because it helps to sell their food.
And it solves a number of different problems that they have to solve.
That is true. Uh, do you want to give us a couple of those problems they have to solve, Jeff?
Well, sometimes they have to add a whole bunch of different processed ingredients to their food, or even the act of processing the main ingredients can make the stuff taste metallic. Oh,
Mhm.
if only we had a magical ingredient we could add that could overcome that.
And for meats that are
Wait.
pre-cooked
There,
and
there is.
reheated,
There is a magical ingredient
what is
you
the
can add.
magical
It
ingredient?
it's salt.
hmm And what I found interesting too is that if you reheat meat and it doesn't have salt in it, it tastes terrible. They called that the wop
Waff.
waff.
Warmed over. Warmed over what?
Warmed over food, maybe?
Flavor.
Flavor, warmed over flavor.
Mm.
They said it tastes like wet dog hair.
Well, some things
Oh,
did, right.
yeah.
And like ham becomes like rubber.
Yeah, it could almost bounce
You know what?
without
I
salt.
I love ham, and I would hate for it to act like rubber or taste like rubber even.
Yeah. So so it does help processed foods not only to taste better, but years ago before they had refrigerators, that's how they used to cure meat. They used to dry it like jerky was like a thing. You would dry your meat with lots of salt in it, and then it would last a lot longer because they didn't have refrigerators back in the day. And so salt was very helpful for that. So we're giving you a few things that are pros of salt, but we're also going to be talking about some of the problems with salt that we also learned in this chapter. And what's another weird,
And a couple of solutions too.
yeah, exactly. So there was some real positive things in the chapter, as well as some things that were scary that we need to be aware of that we can start today to try to make a difference in our lives to be more healthy. If this is your first time coming on, my name is Gina. This is my husband, Jeff,
Hi.
and this is our weight loss book club. We come live every Sunday. We are a book club for busy people. So we only discuss one chapter a week to make it easy for everyone to be able to follow along and do a deep dive with us. If you have read chapter 12 and you have some thoughts
Raise your
about it,
hand.
yeah, raise your hand.
We used to be teachers.
Yeah, write about it in the comments, and we'll be sharing your comments during this live as well. If you're catching this as a replay, put your comments in the comment section, and the discussion isn't over. We will continue this discussion in the comment section days, weeks, even months later. So you're all a part of that. Now, uh I was going to say one other thing that's important. Oh, about sodium. You have to have a little bit.
Yeah.
You do. You have to have a little bit
And
for your heart to work.
evolutionary forces. I mean, all life stemmed from the ocean to begin with, all surrounded in salt water. So it's part of our makeup to require some salt, and
Mhm.
it helps our muscles and our nerves.
Our
Oh,
nerves,
okay.
and it helps your heart to beat. I
Yeah.
know that because I used to work at the YMCA, and there was a high school athlete who was exercising on a treadmill, and he had not had any breakfast. It was in the morning, and he worked out really hard, really, really hard. And he was drinking water, I believe, but he didn't have any electrolytes in him. He had sweated it all out. And I don't know how much he would have eaten the day before. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what sport he played. I just remember being told as a staff member how important it is to watch, people while they're on the treadmills in case somebody falls off. But when that young gentleman passed out off of the treadmill, he went into heart failure, and our YMCA is right next to the hospital on one side, and there's a fire station just a couple
This was
buildings
at
down.
Chandler?
Yeah. And years ago, because
Okay.
remember, I haven't worked at the Y for
Yeah.
for quite a few years now, and it was years ago. But at that building, yeah, at the Chandler building, and when the paramedics came, they couldn't revive him because he had no sodium in his body. His electrolytes were just gone. And so they couldn't bring him back. So you do have to have a little bit of sodium to
Most of
stay
us
alive.
don't have to worry about getting enough.
Right.
Mostly.
You just need a little bit,
Yeah.
just a little bit. And so that's, so you do need a little bit for your biology, which is probably part of why you crave salt, because your body needs some salt.
Yeah. You don't want to forget to have some.
Right. So you need to have like a little bit, but you don't need a lot. Just a little bit. Also, let's see. So those were pros, that it can help preserve your food.
Right.
It can make your food taste a little bit better, and you need a little bit of sodium to survive. You need a little bit. So those are the pros of salt.
Wait, there's another pro of salt.
Oh, what's that?
Well, if you're a food company trying to sell food, if you reduce the salt in it, it ends up making people not buy your product.
Because they don't like the flavor as much.
They don't like the no salt. And the adding salt, they've learned, if we dump all the salt in here, we'll sell more. I mean, this is not necessarily a pro for you and I.
No.
But it's you know,
but
if you're a business, you have to make profits too.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot to unpack in this chapter,
kind of a pro
for sure.
For them.
Exactly. So let's see. So we hit those couple of things. Oh, another thing they found that was interesting. Do you know, when you're a little itty bitty baby, when you are first born, itty bitty babies love sugar. You give them
from the
first day, a little drop of sugar water. They love that. But babies do not like the taste of salt
until about 6 months old.
Yeah, it's not something that they like until they're at least about 6 months old, before babies like that, which I thought was kind of interesting too.
Especially if you take that to also influence how you feed your baby. You don't want to be loading them up with a bunch of salty foods, highly processed foods at 6 months, because it kind of jump starts that craving.
The craving for it. Yeah. Okay. Do you want to talk about the addictive qualities next, Jeff?
Yeah, I liked reading a little bit about the stuff where they compared it to addiction, having salt in your highly processed food. And food scientists, and I guess more the food companies, don't like using that word.
They don't like to use the word addiction.
They like to use the word like craving. Making your food more craveable is what they're aiming for, not addiction, because then you end up having to worry. They have to worry about liability kind of problems.
Right.
But a lot of it works in a similar way to addiction in your brain. And that it was interesting. It wasn't so much that having salt makes you feel better, but you don't want to have the feeling of not having salt, because it's like the lack of it makes you feel bad. It's kind of like, I guess, if somebody went through withdrawal on a drug, you don't want. Oh, and then they punctuated that with Snickers' slogan. What was it?
Well, the one I remember is
ever wait a minute. They said this in the book though. Don't ever let hunger happen to you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Because people have a fear of hunger. And it's that, and
It's more, yeah, it's more the feeling of you want to avoid the pain than you want to get the pleasure.
yeah, and I really understand that. As someone who has battled obesity almost all of my adult years, before I would leave the house, if I thought I was going to go somewhere for a little bit and wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get a meal or a snack there, even if I wasn't hungry, physically hungry, I would eat something real quick before leaving because I didn't want to get hungry later. But I wasn't hungry at the time. So those are stupid calories. I didn't need to preload. And sometimes I would do things like have a little packet of peanuts or something in my purse, or a little something just in case, or a protein bar just in case I get hungry, to throw in to take with me. Again, that fear of hunger. I mean, look at me, I'm not going to starve. And I was even more overweight than I am now. And so crazy to feel like I was going to starve when I'm like,
Yeah, most Americans, at least, are not in danger of starvation.
no,
But
that's not something that.
so when we say we're hungry, it's like we're used to eating at this time of day, and we get a little bit of your brain telling you you're hungry, and then you eat. Versus I'm going to die because I haven't had food for. I mean, you can go
For a
a whole
long
day.
time.
They said,
Right.
A whole day without food and maybe even water, and you're going to feel it.
Yeah, I'm
But
not going to be happy
you're
about
not
it.
going to be starving.
Yeah. So anyway,
Have you ever starved
fear.
before, Gina?
No.
Neither have I.
No. That's not been one of my problems. And it was interesting to me how they talked about how a lot of times a craving is not so much that you want to eat something to take away hunger pains because you're truly hungry, but you're driven to eat so you can get rid of the craving. And I thought about that too, because that has happened to me. I actually have a video where I shared, even though that I'm taking Manjaro, I have type 2 diabetes, and I am taking the type 2 diabetes medication Manjaro, and it has a sister, Zepbound, which is the exact same ingredients to Tirzepatide, but it's given by doctors to help people with obesity. And it really helps calm my cravings. So I don't have so much cravings and I don't have as much food noise. However, it's not perfect. And I can override my medication when I eat things that are uh, pure sugar, or like, mostly sugar, and I'm not eating it immediately after a meal. If I eat sugar,
As a standalone.
as like a candy kind of thing, as a standalone, and I haven't had dinner yet, or I haven't, I'm having it in the middle of the afternoon or something, it can give me extreme cravings to have more. And I hadn't had that feeling in a long time because my food noise had been slowed down. But we stayed at a campsite that had it was a candy store parking lot that let us. It was a Harvest Host, and you're supposed to buy things at that Harvest Host.
Wait, did we learn our lesson?
Oh my God! Oh, but it was so awful. Jeff fell asleep, and there was candy hidden in the van, and I was like crazy nuts looking for that candy. And I wasn't hungry.
I didn't just only hide it because of you. I mean, if I also make it more difficult for me to get to, it's kind of like one extra obstacle for me to be able to resist.
Yeah. But I mean, it was right. But there was pain. It was like pain in my soul that I needed to have. I'm just best way. It was like pain in my soul that I needed to have those Smartie candies, and I was like, just going through tearing everything apart, trying to be quiet while doing it without
Trying to
waking
be
Jeff
quiet,
up.
really?
Yeah, because I didn't want to wake you up, because I didn't want you to stop me, because I was driven that I needed to find that candy, which I didn't find, by the way, and it did drive me crazy. It was really hard, and I wasn't hungry. There truly was no physical hunger, but it was that kind of craving hunger, and I really wanted at least one to be able to scratch that itch. And salt can do that. Salt can be that way too, where it gives you pleasure when you're eating something salty like popcorn, or something that's very salty, chips or whatever. But at the same time, it can also be even a lot of the pleasure is just scratching that itch, so you don't have the craving. So it takes the craving away for a little bit.
Yeah.
So anyway, I found that interesting, that them describe how they described it in the book. I was like, okay, yeah, I totally understand that, and get that.
Something else I was thinking about related to our grandson.
Mm-hmm.
And you may have a baby in your life at some point with either your own or grandkids. Um, and I'm thinking about our own kids too, Gina. That did we ruin them because we gave them ultra processed food when they were 6 months old, and now they're addicted to salt the rest of their life? Now wait, but part of the chapter there kind of made you feel like that, where it was, oh, you're developing their lifelong addiction. Not, they didn't say addiction to salt. If you give them really salty, ultra processed foods too early. And I'm thinking, oh, great, something else to feel guilty about. But then, and I think you're going to mention this.
Okay.
They mentioned like a solution to that.
And the solution, Jeff?
You want me to talk about it? Okay. Well, one of the things that you can do is you can reduce your craving for salt just by removing it from your diet a little bit.
Not 100%.
Right, not 100%.
You'll die. You have to have a little bit for your heart.
Most people are not in danger of removing it 100%. But
right,
because there's salt in our foods, anything you eat, pretty much.
Yeah,
even natural foods will have a little bit of salt in it.
Right. So they did a study with people, and for 12 weeks, they put them on a lower sodium diet, and they had them eliminate processed foods. So
And
they could still have
they
still could have a salt shaker, and they measured all the salt intake they took. I mean, every bite of what they took was being studied. And
I think you're mixing up two different studies, but go ahead.
Well, there was a couple of different. Well, there was more than one study talked about in this book.
Right.
And I mean, one study, they measured how much sodium they took just of everything that they had, and they measured their salt shakers, and they were thinking the salt shakers were where they were getting most of their salt.
Because there was the scare about, oh, everyone has heart disease. What causes that? And they said, oh, well, you get too much salt that holds more fluid in your blood, and then your heart is working harder, and you can have high blood pressure and heart attacks and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And they thought, well, everybody should get rid of their salt shakers. And then they finally did a study. Where is all that salt coming from? Because people aren't using that much salt from their salt shaker. Are they really? And that's when they did that study.
And when they did that study, and they let people use their salt shakers, because in the beginning they just wanted to know, where's your salt coming from? So they didn't restrict them. They could eat whatever they wanted, but every bite was measured, and their salt shaker was measured, like how much salt
did they use. It had a little tracer in that salt, so they could detect how much of that salt in your bloodstream was coming from the salt shaker.
I mean, it was really amazing. And they discovered only 6% of the sodium they were taking in was from using their salt shaker. The rest of the sodium, most of the rest of it came from processed foods.
Yeah, I think 10% came from just naturally occurring in your
food.
food.
And some naturally occur. Like there's a little bit of salt just naturally in spinach.
Yeah.
Which I found kind of interesting.
But the bulk of it was from processed food.
Yeah, the bulk was from
And when they
processed
made
food.
the recommendations of how much should be the maximum, like it's 1,500 milligrams of salt in a
Which is
day.
about a teaspoon.
Right, right. Um, People were getting so much more than that.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Just
think about it. If you hold it, a teaspoon is so incredibly tiny, and you think about eating a bag of chips or a bowl of popcorn
and they
or,
mentioned Hungry Man dinners and stuff
oh
like that.
yeah.
Like, oh, the gravy has this much, the meat has this much, the
Yeah, there's
mashed
9 different
potatoes has
types of
this much.
salts in
Yeah,
a Hungry Man turkey
or whatever
dinner.
it was. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's 3.5 times the
in
daily
one sitting.
recommendation for adults.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
just wow. Yeah. Um,
But then I was hoping you would bring up about the laying off the salt for a
that's
while.
that was
Okay.
the study that I was going to talk about.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
but Jeff mentioned the first study. So the first study was that really we weren't using that much salt from our salt shakers. It's coming from mostly from processed foods that we take in, or even going out to dinner. Because restaurants, they want to make their food as tasty as possible, and there's plenty of sodium when you go out to dinner at restaurants and stuff too. So anyway, the second study that I'm going to talk about is they had people for 12 weeks lay off the processed foods, and for 12 weeks try to eat lower sodium. And then when that 12 weeks was over, they discovered something really exciting. And that's about how long it takes you to not crave as much sodium.
And
They said in the beginning,
your senses were
your senses change.
more sensitive to the presence of salt,
Yeah,
so things didn't taste bland, which was a plus, I thought.
that is a huge plus.
Yeah.
That is a huge plus. Now they did the study participants did say in the beginning it drove them a little crazy, because they were craving their chips and their
Yeah.
things, and they were like, I'm still craving that salt. I want to scratch that itch, and they were able to scratch that itch. So the beginning it was a little hard, but then they got kind of used to it, and then they discovered after 12 weeks that food tasted better, that they could physically be able to taste all the flavors that are in food, and they didn't require as much salt. And then later when they could add some processed foods and stuff back in, it actually tasted too salty.
Right.
And Jeff and I have experienced this. So back during the pandemic, I think it was in 21, March of 21, I believe. We couldn't go places. And so we were doing a lot of friends
Sure, it wasn't in
were
20
doing special
2020?
Facebook. No, no, because I got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes in October of 2020,
Okay.
and I was 50 pounds heavier than I am now.
I see.
On that day, on October 13th. I remember it very well because my daughter got married 4 days later. And it was crushing news to find out I had type 2 diabetes. And then in March, just a few months later, in March of 21, a friend introduced me to Epicure Food Company, and it was a home-based business that people could sell the Epicure spices. And what was really cool about Epicure is it had very low sodium, and a lot of their things didn't have any sodium at all. So it was low sodium or no sodium, and everything was lower in sugar. It either had no sugar or lower in sugar than a similar product would have. And when I got introduced to it, and having type 2 diabetes, and Jeff had high blood pressure at the time, was taking his high blood pressure medications. And he also was overweight, because you're like 40 pounds less than you used to be then. So he's kept 40 pounds off, which is really awesome too. And so we were like trying really hard to eat more healthy. And we were really excited about these Epicure products.
Because it made it easy to cook from scratch.
Yeah, it was all really
spices.
fast. And so I fell in love with it, and I became a consultant of theirs. And so I would do Facebook Lives of cooking using their spices and things.
And I would eat it.
Yeah, and Jeff would be the taste tester to say if it, if he thought it tasted good or not. And it was amazing that in probably about 12 weeks time, it changed our taste buds. Because in the beginning, it needed, I was like, it's okay, but it'd be better if it had a little bit of salt. And I would tell people, if you want to add a little bit of salt, you can. But if you're trying to do a low sodium diet, try not to, or, use as little as possible, because it'll help you to have less sodium. And these products will help you to cook healthy fast. And so I was a distributor for them for a while. And it really did make a difference. And when they said in the chapter that there are some vegetables that just naturally have a little bit of sodium in it, I wouldn't have believed it if I hadn't have done Epicure for a while, because I remember eating a stick of celery. And I was like, oh my gosh, I never really knew celery had that much flavor. I just remember celery as being something to have a lot of crunch, and then you dip it in like ranch dressing or something, and so it was just a deliverer of other flavors. And it was just something that was kind of crunchy and watery and stringy. But when I was crunching it by itself, I was like, oh my gosh, celery has a bunch of flavor. And one of the flavors is salt. It tasted salty, even though it was plain. And if I ate like a peach, oh my gosh, a fresh peach was so much tastier, because I hadn't been eating a lot of processed sugar, and I wasn't eating as much salt, and I could really taste extra flavors in that peach, the mouthfeel and stuff, and the flavors and the natural fruit sugar that's naturally in a peach. It was just so much sweeter and so much tastier. But then when I'd have something processed, it was like, it reset my taste buds. And so anyway, I don't have, and I put some of those videos in my YouTube channel, but I have since taken them down, because this last year Epicure went bankrupt. And so they are no longer in existence. They did recently got rebought out, but they might be coming back possibly in Canada. It was a Canadian company, and they had just started in the United States during the pandemic. And so anyway, it was something that I did for a while, and it did make a difference. But I will also tell you, when you go off it and you start eating a bunch of processed foods again, your taste buds go back to wanting a whole bunch of salt again. So But
in the meantime, you could do some things like was talked about, where the dad brought his child to the baseball game, and they got popcorn or something like that, and then they had to miss part of the game too to go back and get something to drink, because the popcorn had so much salt, and it was like burning their mouths. It was so much salt, and had to go back to buy drinks for the kids too. That you can feel that overabundance of salt, and then make good choices for low salt, like resetting your taste buds.
Yeah, you can reset your taste buds again. So anyway, that's something that Jeff and I have experienced, where we did go low sodium for a while. And
then you notice at some restaurants, oh my gosh, I didn't know how salty they made their food.
Yeah, where it just tasted almost too salty. So in some ways it was kind of hard that way, because we had changed, but restaurants hadn't changed. Anyway, I promise you, if you do try to go lower sodium, it will eventually, you really do get used to it, and it makes a difference.
And then the things that are that have too much sodium in it, it'll burn your tongue, and you'll say, "Oh, I don't want to eat that anymore," and that's a good thing.
Mhm. And also, I had a statistic. They mentioned in the book at the very beginning of the chapter that people in the United States, we didn't worry about sodium so much until the 1980s. And it came out that 1 in 4 adult Americans had hypertension and high blood pressure, which is going to increase your risk for heart attacks and strokes, which you do not want. And people worried about that. And so they did want to have lower sodium. And the food companies did go back to test kitchens and things to try to figure out how could they reduce some of the sodium but not lose money and still have people try to eat things. And we did start seeing things on the shelf. Like I remember getting like some crackers said on the box 25% less sodium, and you started seeing some of that. It was because they wanted to reduce people, the consumers, when they started wanting to reduce their sodium. Well, food manufacturers, they want to sell to you. Yeah. And so they want to sell what you're going to buy.
And they could have done some of the stuff with other spices. But those spices were expensive. Salt is cheap, like dirt. I mean,
yeah. So that was kind of a little in the mix too. And then I was curious, it didn't say it in the chapter of how much where adult Americans are right now with high blood pressure. So I did check, and it said right now in 2025, 48% of adult Americans have high blood pressure. That is really high. So it's almost doubled since the 1980s.
What's the rate of obesity in America in adults?
Oh, that is a good question. Maybe one of you right now could look that up for us and put it in the comments, because we're going to start reading the comments in a couple minutes here. So if you want to look that up and let us know what, but it's really high.
American adults are
obese.
Because I bet
I know for
similar
kids,
to
for children, because it was one of these chapters, and you can look up all of our previous chapters, the first 11 chapters that we did, and I might have done one for the intro too. You can catch all of those on replay. There is a playlist on my Anchor Moments channel with all the other chapters. But I know obesity of kids years ago, back in like the 80s or slightly before the 80s, it was like 1 in 10 kids was obese, and now it's like 1 in 4, and that's really not good, because those kids are going to have a lot of health issues as adults if we don't start scaling back. Okay. Did you have anything else that you want to
Well, do you remember we went and saw Superman?
Yes, I do remember seeing Superman this week.
Okay, good, because what did we say when we went past the snack bar?
We skipped it.
Yeah,
that's unusual for us.
We often would do like the popcorn, because you go to a movie, you want popcorn, right?
Yeah.
But I think the last time I was at the theater, and I don't know if it was back, we haven't gone to the theater a lot.
No, actually, I don't think we've seen a movie for probably 6 months in the theater. So we don't go very often.
But the last time we went, it was the popcorn had so much salt, it was like burning my tongue.
Yeah, that seemed too salty.
Yeah, it wasn't a pleasurable thing, so I thought this is easier to resist now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we didn't get candy either, so that was was exciting for me as well, that we were able to walk past it and skip it.
We decided to only get candy at Harvest Host locations. So you buy $100
when they let us
candy
sleep in their parking lot for free in our van.
I'm kidding.
Oh my gosh!
Here we go. Robin Lockwood.
Oh yeah, we've got a few. Let's go ahead and go and see what.
We have an answer right there, though. You want to look?
Oh, she gave the answer right away. All right.
Move off of it.
All right.
So I'll click on show then.
All right. Robin just checked for this, and she said the AI says the prevalence of adult obesity in the U.S. was 40.3%. from August 21 to August 23, according to the CDC.
Wow.
Wow. So that's 4 out of every 10.
So a lot of those people, if they're obese, you might have high blood pressure as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean,
because 48%.
It's not a 1-to-1, but
No,
it's similar.
because there are skinny people who have high blood pressure too. But wow, thank you so much, Robin.
Thanks.
And now we'll go back to the other comments from the beginning, but I appreciate you looking that up for us, Robin. All right, I can't get it to go up. Can you get it to go up?
Tell you what, watch. You mouse over right there. Use the scroll wheel. Look.
Oh yeah, I'm still not used to his scroll wheel.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Going live in a minute. Okay. Here we go. You want me to just click?
Yep.
Okay.
Just click for me. Hey, we got Robin here in the house and checking on stats for us. Appreciate that, Robin. And she's on time. And Traveling T's in the house. Hey, T. She says, good afternoon, everyone from Florida. Yay. And Robin says, that must be why I don't like meat reheated. I will eat it cold, and some people would think I was crazy. No, because it makes a difference. It's that especially if your meat didn't have a lot of salt on it, it's going to taste really bad reheated.
Hey, one thing that I do, I get the rotisserie chicken from Costco.
Mm-hmm.
It's already in a bag, and I take it and I split it into little serving size bags of 3 ounces each. Have it in the fridge, and then if I want to use that, like for instance, we have some barbecue sauce we bought at a different Harvest House, which is really good barbecue
sauce. Yeah.
And I could take the chicken and put the barbecue sauce on it and microwave it, but then the chicken turns out rubbery. So what I do instead is I put the amount of barbecue sauce that I want, like 2 tablespoons, into a little bowl and heat the barbecue sauce up. And then I shred the chicken into it after I take it out of the microwave. And I'm not microwaving the chicken, and the heat from the barbecue sauce heats up the chicken, and it's perfect and it's tender without being rubbery. Anyway,
that's the way he likes to do it.
That's just a little tip from Jeff.
A little tip from Jeff. Yes.
Okay, I got it. But I hear you there, Robin.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and he did get a haircut this week. Thanks, Robin. And Robin says, I used to love chicken a la king. Then I found it in a can. Swanson's. Pour it over 2 pieces of buttered toast. The sodium, oh my gosh, was $15.35. So that was your whole day's worth of sodium in that one meal. I had no idea. One day I looked and the can read $12.50. Wow. So maybe they brought it down a little bit. So not quite as much.
Still pretty high.
But still high.
Yeah.
It's still high.
Oh,
And yeah. And Robin says, Outback Steakhouse is too salty for me. I have to ask for their lower sodium seasonings.
Well, they do that. Oh,
that's a good idea, Robin. I never thought to ask that at a restaurant.
Yeah.
Thanks. That is a really good idea.
Oh, and there's what we just read.
And we got Laura in the house. Hey, Laura. And she says, also, the medical community used to consider hypertension as 160/95 back in the late 70s. Wow. And now it's 120/80 is a healthy.
Wow.
Yep. And over the years, the medical community has lowered it to 120/80. Yeah. And Robin says, rotisserie chicken is loaded with sodium. Be careful. Yeah, it is. Because I can taste it even when it's cold. There is sodium in it.
I use the MyFitnessPal app, and so it keeps track from all the things that I enter. It keeps track of how much sodium for the whole day. And yes, you're right. So hopefully I try to get some of the other things during the day that are lower in sodium so that I don't end up going over. But it is hard in America to stay under the 1,500.
Yeah, it really is, especially if you're going to do anything that has any processing to it. Okay.
I think that's it.
Is that it? All right. Hey, YouTube is doing something new, and it's not showing up yet on all my videos, and not everybody has the capacity yet to do it because it's new. Just started this week, but there's something called Hype. So not only is it helpful when people like a video and subscribe to your channel, it shows your videos to a bigger audience, but there's something new called hype, and it's right next to the like button, and right on that little bar where the like button is,
What does the
it says
icon look
hype.
like?
It says hype, HYPE. If you liked this video or any of our Anchor Moments or our other YouTube channel, Anchor Moments RV video, if you see that hype button and you click it, right now anyway, for sure, it doesn't cost any money. It's just a free way to support small YouTube channels. So if you'd be willing to hype any of our videos, and the video has to be up for less than 7 days. So once it's been out for a while, you can't hype it. It has to be like fresh and new, but it's a way that YouTube now wants to help support small channels like us. And I want to appreciate everybody who shows up each week and joins us. I do a Manjaro Monday live, and I give myself my shot on Mondays and do question and answers. And a lot of times I have guests who are also on a Manjaro or Zepbound or any GLP-1 journey. So if you'd like to be a guest, you can email me.
Wait, you have a comment that you missed.
Oh yeah, I'm going to do that comment in a minute, but let me just finish this. You can email me, Gina@anchormoments.com, if you'd like to be a guest on the show. And then I'll go back.
Should I email you?
You could if you wanted to, sweetheart. So anyway, that's a way that you can contact me if you'd like to get a hold of me. All right. And Robin says she still doesn't see it. Yeah.
It may not be.
But
we don't know the details of how they choose that.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how they choose that, but at some point, Robin, you are going to be able to see it because, like I say, it's fresh and new and they're just starting to launch that. But if you ever do see it, if you'd be willing to give us a hype, I really appreciate that too, as well as liking, subscribing, or sharing with somebody that you think the video would help. All right.
I just emailed you.
Traveling Tea. Did you just email me?
I just emailed you.
Oh,
I want to
thanks,
be on
sweetie.
your show.
You want to be on my show? Thanks, Jeff. And Traveling Tea says condiments like ketchup are also high in sodium. Yes, they are. And salsa. A lot of salsas have a lot of,
That's true.
Even though they're still so
and
still
the things
so
you
yummy.
put salsa on usually.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Next week we'll do chapter 13, and I look forward to seeing a lot of you tomorrow too on a Manjaro Monday Live. Hold on to your anchor moments and make it a great day. Bye-bye.